Somewhere beyond the fog, where the wind still remembers forgotten names, a story stirs quietly, waiting to be felt. Not told. This is a whisper from elsewhere. Let us begin our story. There was a house at the edge of a silver forest, a place where sunbeams seemed to pause before they fell, a place where shadows stretched long and lean and secrets whispered on the breeze. It was a quiet house, moss covered and wrapped in vines and old wind. It was a house that seemed to breathe. No path led to it. No birds flew above it, and high up on its gables, shutters rattled softly against the paneled glass. And its door, oh, its wooden door, it had seen countless years go by, each marked with the soft sighing of the trees, the hush of falling leaves, the sleepy call of crickets in the evening, for no one had ever knocked on its wooden door. Inside, though, lived a soul, a quiet thing that was not quite a man, not quite a ghost, yet always tethered to the dawning light. He woke with the sun, or maybe the sun woke with him. In the stillness, he lit a lantern that never flickered. He knew no shadows, yet he lived in hues of grey and green and blue. Each day he waited, for a knock, for a voice, for a reason. He didn't remember why he waited, but the waiting had become part of him, like breath, or heartbeat, or the slow tick-tock of the grandfather clock downstairs, like silence. Seasons passed, like whispers, soft against the pane, the steady drip of melting snow, the hushed susurrus of summer leaves. The rain tapped gently on the roof, a steady tattoo of falling drops, a lullaby for the lonely eaves. The leaves danced outside, unseen, unheard, their laughter carried away on the wind. And all the while, the house stood sentinel, steadfast and still, watching the world spin by, the changing hues of sky and sea. The world moved, but the house did not, and neither did he. Then one day, or maybe night, time had lost all meaning. Footsteps echoed faintly through the forest, a sound so small, so tentative, like a shy bird testing the air. He stirred, his heart caught in his throat, and he rose, his joints aching with the effort. He stood by the window and watched as the dry leaves crunched underfoot, guiding him closer, closer to the house. The lantern in his hand flared, the light spilling across the worn floorboards, across the faded wallpaper, up the grand staircase, and out again into the gathering gloom. And then he heard it again, the sound of footsteps, soft, deliberate, getting closer still. He took a shaky breath, his hand tightening on the lantern stem. He moved then, crossing the room in 3 long strides, and he stood beside the door, his whole body tense, listening. The knocker rested against the wood. He strained to hear, to see, to feel the pulse of life quicken in his chest. The door rattled, the knocker tapped again, and this time, oh, how he longed to cry out, to fling the door open, to welcome the one who stood on his threshold. But he couldn't, not with a sound, not with a word, not with a gesture. He could only wait, his heart hammering in his chest, echoing the knock, 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 knock against the weathered wood. And then, just as suddenly as it started, the sound of footsteps faded into the undergrowth, retreating back into the whispering trees, leaving him alone once more. He lowered his hand, the lantern light spilling down, painting the floor in gold, illuminating the dust motes, dancing in its gentle rays. And when he looked again, there was no one there. No one at all. He turned back to the door, his shoulders slumping with the weight of unending solitude. There was no knock, and so he returned to his chair by the window. The faded tapestry of memories spread at his feet, and he sat, enveloped in the quiet embrace of the room. The house, the forest, and as the days bled into weeks and the seasons turned once more, a faint smile touched his lips, just a little, just enough. Because even without the knock, he had heard something, a sound that cut through the heavy cloak of silence, the rustle of leaves, the murmur of the breeze, the patter of rain on the glass. He had heard something that reminded him. He still hoped, and in that hope there was peace and there was loneliness, and there was something quietly beautiful, a truth as old as the house itself, as enduring as the forest around it, a truth that whispered through the trees, a truth that echoed in the empty halls, a truth that lived in the gentle sigh of the wind, a truth that resonated in the stillness. Sometimes the echo of what never came is the gentlest sound of all. Fog settles again, the light fades, but the story lingers, in echoes, in ashes, in silence. Perhaps you've felt it too. Another whisper waits, somewhere. Until next time, stay close to the flame.